Hey foodie friends, today we're gonna make a beautiful fresh peach galette. So let's get saucy. All right, foodie friends, a peach galette, it's like a rustic kind of free-form peach pie, right? So in my bowl here, I have 6 beautiful fresh peaches that I just cut into slices, took the pits out, of course. To that, I'm gonna add 1/3 cup of granulated sugar and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I'm going to add a tablespoon of cornstarch to that as well, and a 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract. You could add vanilla extract if you don't have almond. If you were gonna do vanilla, I would do probably a teaspoon, but I'm gonna do this. It's gonna kind of really pair well with those peaches. And then I'm also gonna add a little bit of almond flour into the crust. So about a 1/2 capful is gonna be your 1/2 teaspoon. And I'm also going to add in some key lime juice. You could do regular lime juice. I just didn't have regular lime juice on hand. I had this key lime juice. So I'm gonna add in a tablespoon of this key lime juice here. And then a pinch of salt, because everything sweet needs a little bit of salt. So I'm gonna put a pinch of salt in there, and I need a spatula. All right, so I'm just gonna give these a quick toss, get everything coated in that sugar and cornstarch. That cornstarch is gonna help those juices to thicken up, of course, and these peaches, like I said, they're really beautiful fresh peaches. They're sweet enough on their own, but they're gonna need a little bit of added sugar there we put in there. So give this a good mix, get everything well coated and distributed, and then we're gonna set this off to the side, and we're gonna work on our dough, which I already made before, and I will be putting up a separate video for my pie dough, which is super buttery because I do a lot more butter than most. Typically your pie dough is gonna have like 50 to 60% butter to flour in it. I do mine with 75% butter to flour. So I'm gonna set these off to the side, clean up this stuff here really quickly. Okay, so I have one of these pastry mats, which I love. It's got markings on it for different sizes so you know how big you're rolling things out to. It's got conversions on it for measurements and for temperatures and everything like that. I love this. If you grab one, if you can find one, they're on Amazon, they're all over the place. I'm gonna give it a little bit of flour because I'm gonna roll out my dough now. So just a little bit of flour here. And I've got my pie dough, which I took out of the refrigerator like 15 minutes ago or so. We're just gonna go ahead and give this a roll out to about, I'd say like 12 inches or so. I'm gonna give this a nice dusting of flour as well. We don't want this to stick. You know, we've got the silicone mat, so that should be not a huge issue, but you never know. And then flour my rolling pin here as well. And just start in the center as always and turn and roll this out to, like I said, I want to go to about 12 inches, I think, on this. Kind of coax it into a good circle when you notice that it's getting a little too wonky, and then go back at it. If it starts to crack around the edges, just kind of push those cracks together. This was in the refrigerator after I made it for a good hour and a half or more, so it had time to really hydrate, which is what you want to do. So let it really hydrate in the refrigerator after you make it, and that way you won't get too many cracks when you're rolling it out. It should all really come together and be a beautiful, smooth dough. And again, this is a galette or a crostata, whichever you want to call it. So it's a free form. This doesn't have to be a perfect circle because once we put the filling in, we're just going to fold the edges up. It's not going in a pie pan. It's just going on a sheet tray with some parchment paper, and we're going to just free form fold the edges up around our filling. It's going to be really rustic and beautiful. Okay, so it's rolled out. It's actually probably closer to about 13 inches on my mat here, which is fine. So I've got a sheet tray here. I'm just going to, I'm out of parchment paper, of course. So I've got a sheet tray here with a silicone mat on it. I'm just going to transfer this over. It's gonna overhang a little bit, but that's okay because once we put the filling in, like I said, we'll fold it up. So I'm just gonna transfer this over to here. And then let me get rid of this. So I said I had, or I don't remember if I did, I have some almond flour here. I've got about 3 tablespoons of almond flour here. I'm just gonna sprinkle some of that in the bottom of this. And what that's gonna do is I'm using that almond extract, so that's just gonna drive home that almond flavor, but it's also gonna put a little bit of a barrier between the peaches and the crust. So these peaches, if they're super juicy, then this will help kind of absorb some of that and not let the bottom of the crust get soggy. So just kind of spread this evenly. And this is just an optional step. You don't have to do this if you don't have almond flour, but I just happen to keep a little bit of almond flour in my freezer because nuts, you know, they have oils in them that can go rancid really easily. So I keep, when I buy nuts or nut flours, I keep them in the freezer because I typically buy them in larger quantities, but the refrigerator's fine too. So anyway, just spread that out, and then we're gonna add our peaches. And I'm going to use a slotted spoon to put my peaches on here. If they're super juicy and there's a lot of juice in the bottom, you don't want to put all that on here because it can cause this to get really soggy, and we don't want a soggy crust. We want a nice crisp bottom crust on this. So just pile these up right in the center. Get them. You're gonna leave like about a 2-inch border around here to fold up around them. So keep that in mind when you're putting your almond flour down and when you're putting your peaches on. So, or whatever fruit. You can do this with really any fruit that you have, berries. These peaches, like I just saw them at the market the other day and they looked so beautiful, I had to get them. So what I'll probably do is take the juice that's in here and kind of reduce it down, maybe add a little water and make kind of a glaze that I'll paint on top of them. You could do just like some like apricot jam, some like warmed up apricot jam if you wanted to put on top of it to kind of give it really a nice beautiful glaze on top. So now I'm just kind of folding my dough up around, and this is, like I said, really rustic and freeform. Just kind of fold it and give it a little bit of a crimp here and there, like a little fold, and that's it. She looks great. So I'm gonna give it a quick little egg wash. I just took an egg and beat it up here in my little bowl. So we're gonna give this an egg wash so this gets nice and golden brown. If I had, and I thought I did, but then in my pantry I did not, some coarse sugar, I would sprinkle that on the crust. It'll give it a nice kind of sparkle and crunch to the crust, but you know, you could do regular granulated sugar too if you have that, if you wanted to do that. I just decided to forego it altogether because I didn't have the coarse sugar. Again, it's not necessary, but it just makes it, it gives it that kind of patisserie, bakery quality that that's really beautiful, but this is already gonna be beautiful. So last thing I'm gonna do is I've got some really cold little tiny pieces of butter here. I'm just gonna dot these all along the top. This is about a tablespoon of butter. I just kind of cut up into these little cubes. And again, I always use unsalted butter, so this is unsalted butter. If you were gonna use salted butter on this, then I would maybe not put the pinch of salt in the filling or put like a really tiny pinch of salt in the filling. But this butter is just gonna add some richness to this. It's gonna be absolutely delicious. So this is going in the oven now. I have it, like I said, preheated to 400. I'm gonna leave it for 15 minutes at 400, and then I'm gonna reduce the temperature to about 375 and give it another 25 to 35 minutes, just checking on it. I want it to be a beautiful golden brown, and I'll kind of like gently lift the bottom with the spatula to make sure the bottom's nice and golden brown. So once that's done, we'll come back, after I let it cool a bit, we'll come back and give it a taste. All right, foodie friends, here is our galette out of the oven. It's absolutely beautiful, golden brown. Those peaches look amazing. So I took the extra juice, like I said, that was in the bottom of the bowl there, and I just added, it was a very little bit, maybe like 2 tablespoons worth of liquid in the bowl. I added 2 tablespoons of water and a tablespoon of sugar to it, and just let it kind of heat up over the stove so the sugar could melt. And I'm just gonna brush it on these peaches to give them a little bit of a glaze. So it's gonna look like something that would sit in the window of a pastry shop. It's gonna have a beautiful kind of sheen to the top of it. I don't know if you can see as I'm doing it that it's getting nice and shiny and beautiful. So just a little extra added step. You obviously don't have to do that. You can just eat it as it is. It's still gonna be delicious, but this is just a little bit of curb appeal, you know? So there we have it. It looks amazing. I'm sure it's gonna taste delicious. I'm gonna get some photos real quick and then we'll come back and taste it. Might serve it with a little bit of vanilla ice cream. It's still a little bit warm. It's not, you know, hot, but it's still a scotch warm. So it would be great with a little bit of vanilla ice cream or just some whipped cream, a little bit of creme fraiche, some mascarpone, anything like that would be great with this. So there she is again. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and get some photos and then we'll come back and cut a piece and taste it. All right, so let's get a little slice here. Look at that. Oh, dropped a peach. So there we go. It looks amazing, right? Check that out. It's so beautiful. So I'm gonna get this peach that I dropped over here and a little bit of vanilla ice cream on the side. And I'm just gonna go in with a bite of it by itself. That is absolutely delicious. Great peach flavor. The crust is nice and crisp on the bottom. Not overly sweet. A little hint of almond from that almond extract and a little bit of almond flour. We put it in the bottom there. So thanks as always for joining me on Getting Saucy with Chef Lynn. There's going to be a link to the full written recipe in the description box below. As always, you can follow me across all social media at Chef Lynn Wheeler. And remember, keep exploring, keep tasting, and keep celebrating the flavors that bring us together. So good.